Back here at Fenway Park, game one of the pregame series against the Sox. Let's get a look at the Orioles starting lineup. Ryan Roberts, Melvin Mora, and Miguel Tejada up top. Jeff Conine in the cleanup spot. Ramon Hernandez batting fifth tonight against the left-hander. Wells has pretty good numbers head-to-head against David Wells. Fernando Tatis, Corey Patterson, Kevin Millar back at Fenway Park, and Nick Markakis batting ninth.
So Boomer Wells will try to win for the 228th time. There are the numbers. Knee problems. He won 15 games for the Red Sox last year. Started out early, didn't pitch well, got on the disabled list. Then in May, Travis Lee on the 26th of May hit him with a line drive, went back on the disabled list. Since then, a game against Cleveland, 4 2/3 innings, where he gave up 8 runs. And in his last game, David Ortiz makes a 4-run error. So again, as David Wallace told us, the pitching coach, we will just kind of know early. And there is the defense, the Rico defense. Ramirez, Crisp, Willie Mo Pena will be out in right field. Trot Nixon on the disabled list. Lowell, Gonzalez, Loretta, Euclid, and Javi Lopez. So maybe not as good a defensive team. They made 11 less errors than anybody in baseball. Houston in second place defensively.
So David Wells gets ahead, strike one. One thing about Wells, even still, age 43, he has tremendous command. See the numbers on Brian Roberts. He is 1 out of 11 on the road trip. And fouls it back this way, and 0-2 on Brian Roberts. What a night at Fenway Park. Get a look at our Blue Dot game time temperature. It is a very pleasant 70 degrees and very low humidity.
And the wind appears, I know it's blowing into the booth, so if you're going to pitch here at Fenway, actually it's blowing from left field across the diamond to right center field here at Fenway Park. A lot of room in center and right here.
This is the oldest ballpark in the major leagues. And strike three called, and Brian Roberts knew it. So Wells strikes out Roberts, and on 3 pitches, 1 away in the Oriole first inning.
Well, this is not Brian Roberts' best side. Much better from the left side. And here's the big 12-6 curveball. Maybe at age 43, it's gone from a little bit more like 11-30. But Boomer, when he is on his game, will throw a curveball that not too many left-handers have. Adam Lowenz has a similar curveball. Throw a little bit of cutter, mostly 4-seam fastballs.
And Melvin Mora takes a strike.
And the one thing about Boomer, pretty young pitching staff, a lot of young guys out in the bullpen for the Red Sox, especially their closer. And so Veritek, very, very important. But Boomer Wells, he's got a neck, he's got a head. You can shake him off. I'm sure they discussed how they want to pitch the Orioles. Here's another curveball for a strike.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of talk about Javi Lopez when it was known that Veritek would need surgery. Boston wanted an everyday catcher, and they made the trade with the Orioles. And because Boston went 1-5 on the road trip, all of a sudden it's Javi's fault. And Javi told Terry Francona, I'm doing my best to learn these guys, but that's all I can do. And I agree with you, Jim. It's up to the pitcher on the mound. They know their game. Strike three called. Chuck Merriweather rings up back-to-back hitters and 2 men down.
Well, the Red Sox are a totally different team. I mean, they're 30-31 after that 5-game losing streak. As Melvin Moore is going to say, what kind of strike zone are we going to have? And if you give him, we're talking about David Wells, a much more experience at 43 than Adam Lowen, who's about 21 years older at age 22. So Melvin thought the ball was off the corner, and Boomer, that's exactly what he wants, an umpire that is wearing a red suit back there and thinks he's Santa Claus.
It's okay as long as he's Santa Claus for Adam Lowen as well.
Well, except that Adam doesn't really have that expertise at this point in his career.
Tejada lines it to right for a base hit. Miguel wasn't going to wait around to get 2 strikes on him. Goes after the first pitch, so a 2-out single, and the Orioles have a base runner. Here's the umpiring lineup for tonight. You've already seen Chuck Merriweather. He has the plate. Phil Cuzzy is at first base. The crew chief, Jerry Crawford, is at second base, and Brian Honora is at third. And somewhat strange to see because of the weather we've been having. The umpires actually have jackets on tonight on this cool evening in Boston. It was just a week ago, Eric Bedard took the mound at Camden Yards, and it was 102 degrees.
Yeah,
Not so here tonight.
Yeah, front coming through on Wednesday night, and weather clearing out yesterday here in Boston.
Jeff Conine takes the ball. The first ball thrown by David Wells. Jeff is 2 out of 8 on the road trip, getting a start in left field tonight.
Well, David Wells is the oldest pitcher that has ever started a game for the Red Sox. Nobody older as ever in all these years. But as we told you, 15-game winner last year, 15-7.
Well, to give you an idea of the contrast in these two guys tonight, David Wells made his major league debut for the Toronto Blue Jays on June the 30th, 1987. Adam Lowen was 3 years old, and they are matching against each other tonight. Adam turned 3 in April of that year, so he was, 3 years and 3 months old when Wells pitched in the big leagues for the first time. Conine to right, Pena's there, and he'll put it away for the out. Inning over. 2-out single, none left. Bottom of the first coming up, no score. Orioles didn't score. Here come the Red Sox in the bottom of the first against Adam Lowen, Coco Crisp, Mark Loretta, and David Ortiz up top. Manny Ramirez in the middle of that lineup. Look at the career numbers against the Orioles. He also brings a 25-game hitting streak into tonight's game. Euclid, Lowell, Pena, Javi Lopez, and Gonzalez rounding it out for Terry Francona.
So Adam Lowen at age 22, this is his 10th major league start. So as we mentioned, David Wells, 3 years old when he broke into the big leagues, actually when Adam was 3 years old, and he now has 452 lifetime starts, so obviously a little more experience. And there's a first pitch strike. I think you have the tendency sometimes, at least I did when I pitched here, that you just feel that you have to be perfect and you try to throw the ball for the corners, but you really do when you have great stuff like Adam Lowen. You have to throw your pitches, use both sides of the plate, something he did against the Yankees. He had a great curveball. I think one of the great stories is in the 7th inning after a couple of walks. Sammy Palazzo, the Oriole manager, went out there with Posada up and he said, "Are you all right?" He goes, "Are you tired?" He said, "I never get tired." And then he struck him out on about 5 curveballs, and then they went to the bullpen. Williams came in, got a double play ball, and the Orioles went on to win. But Adam Lowen, great attitude, great stuff. Gave him a lot of money. Real good athlete, good hitter. And he wants to work hard and has been working hard and just trying to command the fastball. He's got the other pitches, slider, curveball, and changeup.
Ahead of Coco Crisp, 0-2. And a bouncer towards the hole. Brian Roberts can't get it. There's a base hit. So Coco Crisp just poking it the other way, and because Brian was shading up the middle, it gets on through for a hit. Let's get a look at the Rico defense tonight behind Adam Lowen.
Yeah, take a look around Fenway Park. Conine, Patterson, Markakis, the outfield for the Orioles. Mora, Tahana, Roberts, and of course a guy that was on the 2004 World Championship team, Kevin Millar. And then behind the plane, Ramon Hernandez. And that's a ball, that's very fast infield here. They hit 305 here at Fenway Park, 262 on the road.
Here is Mark Loretta, the second baseman for Boston. Lowen misses down and away, and Coco Crisp was leaning back towards first base as Lowen came towards the plate. Pretty good base runners, 16 steals and 20 attempts. They have that different dimension now when he's in the lineup.
Yeah, they don't steal a lot of bases. He's got 16 of the 41 stolen bases. And that's one of the reasons they went out and got Coco Crisp. And Johnny Damon turned down $40 million over 4 years. Signed for the Yankees for about 52 over 4. And they went out and acquired Coco Crisp, switch hitter. Neither he or Johnny Damon with great throwing arms, but Crisp a lot younger. I think Johnny Damon around, 32, and Coco's 26.
Mora is in tight at third. The Red Sox also don't sacrifice a lot because they have such a potent lineup. Pitch out, nothing up. 2-1 the count.
Well, yeah, that's something you usually don't see very often of. Young pitcher, you pitch out, but either you thought you had the sign, which apparently is not the case. Because the Red Sox, they would love to have a big inning. They've lost 5 in a row. They have scored first in 4 of the last 5 losses. Looked like they had the game in hand last night going into the 8th inning with a 4-2 lead, and Schilling commanding the ball. And of course Loretta, we always talk about Ortiz, who waits on deck. He hits in front of Manny Ramirez, but how about Mark Loretta? He gets the hit in front of David Ortiz. So right here, you know, if you're Adam Lowen and he can throw a strike, that's what he's going to try to do.
See if Croco grows on 3-1. He does not. And it's pulled fair down the line.
Yeah, and if you're a shortstop, you really have to get out there quickly because of that ball will come off that little wall down there. A lot of times you can hold a guy to a single, and that's what happens.
Crisp with the play in front of him gets to third, so here come the Sox. Back-to-back singles, first and third, and none down.
However, Loretta's had a great year. I mean, he's hitting 207. He's hit 330 his last 81 games, so a missile, and that's the little wall we're talking about right there. He hits it so sharply, Tejada's able to get to it. And actually, here comes the left fielder.
So Crisp at third, Loretta at first, none down. And Adam Lowen right out of the chute in a minimize the damage mode. The Orioles will put the shift on against Ortiz, who is having another monster year.
Well, that's why I don't like trying to pitch out in the first inning. You know, the hardest inning for a lot of guys, especially young pitchers, is when they come out of the bullpen.
Swings through it, 0-1. Ortiz leading the American League in home runs with the 41. He's leading the league in RBIs with 110. And despite the fact that Boston's been losing, they have lost 5 in a row, as Jim mentioned, but he has homered in 3 of those 5 games.
Yeah, 4 out of the last 6. The Orioles will put the shift on. And of course, David has bunted. He's hit a ground ball to win a game, a walk-off, just a routine ground ball to shortstop. And of course, that's what the shift's supposed to do. I mean, right here, you would love as a. Look at those numbers. Well, you have to briefly look at those numbers. We'll get back. He's leading them all in RBI since 2003.
Down and in.
And of course, if you don't throw him strikes, he'll go down to first base. I mean, he's the total package. 170 RBIs there in the last 170 games. And you have to understand, when he came over in 2003, he did not play regularly. And there's Manny and David with Ramirez on deck with a 25-game hitting streak. And then he waves at it. Well, he's the one thing about Adam Lowen, a lot of times he will throw a fastball that will actually cut, but he does have a slider, and we've seen that the last couple of games. Larry McCall saying that was one of his best pitches in the minor leagues. Just a great moving fastball, and we saw that time and time again against the Yankees, but it was a twilight game. Not to make that insignificant, because he was able to pitch and pitch well.
Fouls it back. Well, Adam Lowen was out here on the bench about 20-5. And he and Eric Bedard were the only 2 players out on the bench. And Eric was kind of giving him a tour and pointing out certain things in the ballpark. And as Jim mentioned, the first time you walk in here as a visiting pitcher, the green monster just swallows you up. Just outside, ball 3. And of course, as a pitcher, you really can't worry about that because you don't want to change what helps you get hitters out. But it's still a big sight out there in left field, in particular the first time you see it. There's the green monster in left field, stretching out towards left center. Ball back again.
And it's a great ballpark for left-handed power hitters. I mean, you go back and you think of, Yaz, and you think of Freddie Lynn, and you think of even Wade Boggs. They take advantage of that wall. I remember Boog Powell hitting 3 home runs here. I mean, he just kind of staggered them. One down the line, one to left center, and one into the what used to be the net. Now are the monster seats.
See all the marks on the wall where the ball's hit. The metal green monster.
A very unusual ballpark.
And he got him. Oh, big out. Ortiz strikes out and 1 away.
Well, 85-mile-per-hour slider, and it just goes away. And, now, even though you have one of the hottest hitters in baseball with a 25-game hitting streak, watch this pitch. Just a perfect one. 22-year-old kid, David Ortiz, you say, he's going to throw me a fastball. And that's what the good slider looks like. It looks like a fastball until it slides away if thrown properly. So you do have a chance right here to get out of this inning on 1 pitch here. Manny Ramirez, he's red hot, 25-game hitting streak, hitting up 402, 8 home runs, 6 doubles, monster year.
25-game hitting streak. You think of Manny as a slugger, but he is much more than that. You have to be consistent. He is 6th in the league in batting. And during the 25-game hitting streak, he's batting .402. He actually has a realistic shot as you look at Coco Crisp at third and Mark Loretta at first. At the Red Sox team record, he's within 9. And it's held by a DiMaggio. There are the numbers during the hitting streak. Dominic DiMaggio holds the Red Sox hitting streak record. 34 in a row back in 1949, which was a big year for the Red Sox, although they did finish second to the Yankees that year. But that's pretty interesting. You have Joe DiMaggio as the all-time streak as a Yankee. Dominic DiMaggio, the all-time streak as a Red Sox.
Yeah, Damon with 29 last year. That's the longest recent sweep.
A ball and a strike on Ramirez. And that's high ball 2.
Well, another thing Manny does is you look at him and you think, well, here's just a guy that hits for power, and he does, but he's got a .434 on base percentage, so he makes you throw the ball over. He knows what he wants to hit. I remember when he was in Cleveland, Charlie Manuel, now the Phillies manager, was his batting instructor. He said he looks at film, he pays attention, does his drills.
He may get fooled on a pitch, but he rarely chases. He's looking for something he can drive. Ron Jackson, the Red Sox hitting coach, does a very good job with this club. They are 5th in the league in batting, 3rd in home runs, 2nd in runs scored. They also lead the league in walks.
More right, and on base percentage.
Strike 2.
Looking a certain area right there and not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
So we'll see what Terry Francona does now with Loretta. If he'll go on 3 and 2. Ramirez, a pretty good contact hitter. There are the rankings of this Boston team.
Yeah, there you go.
The Yankees 2nd in the league in walks. For the 1st, and back is Loretta.
See, I mean, this is something that most young pitchers don't do. I mean, there's 22. Manny Ramirez, he's 22 years old. Manny Ramirez at the plate, Fenway Park for the first time. And just in case Loretta's leaning, you might be able to pick him off. And so well taught in the minor leagues by the Oriole pitching coaches.
Loretta goes, foul back.
Obviously didn't want to go in 3 and 2 because he's running is going to be a little more difficult to double him up. It's going to have to be a very sharp hit ball, and of course the middle infielders Tejada and Roberts are going to try to hold their positions as long as they can, because otherwise you vacate a position and maybe Ramirez can get a base hit. Just the little nuances, subtleties of the game that makes it a little bit more easy to hit when it's 3 and 2.
Again, throws to first just in case.
And then, of course, the dilemma for Ramon Hernandez is good speed at third. So what if Manny would strike out? Do you throw through? Do they cut it off? Do you just fake the second? So a lot of stuff going on here in the first inning.
Line, Tejada knocks it down. And a run will score and everybody's safe.
Yeah, it should have been a double play. I mean, not an easy play because the ball was just smoked. But if you catch it, you go back to his first start talking about Adam Lowe and Tejada. I don't know how they're going to score this. Probably a base hit, but this is a double play ball if you catch it. But it could have knuckled. Not easy. Short guy jumping for a high ball. It's not an easy play. And no play at all. And maybe. Looks like they're going to put up an error.
Now I see base hit. They put 3 hits up. Let's see.
Well, I just see out in errors. There's no 0 up there where the Orioles are. So
that's a base hit.
Yep. So there you go. 26-game hitting streak. And now you get another guy that is the Greek god of walks.
Evan Youkilis. Score just ruled officially base hit RBI, so the hitting streak at 26, and that's a tough break for Lowen. The ball was smoked, but if Miggy catches it, the inning's over. So now he'll try to get Youkilis to end the inning. Still only 1 down. Left field, Conine is there. Easy play, 2 men down. So 2 down. Let's get a look at our Jim Coleman keys to the game tonight. Game 1 of a 3-game set against Boston.
Well, for the Orioles, we told you 1-8 against the Red Sox. So can they reverse the trend? Fearless in Fenway, and we're talking about Adam Lowen. The Red Sox 35-17, 30-31 on the road. So home cooking, they need it. They've lost 5 in a row, and is Wells well. Has yet to win. All kinds of knee problems, line drives, and coming off knee surgery. They need him.
Mike Lowell, the 6th batter in this inning, takes a strike.
Kind of a potpourri of what's going on. A little poke single into right field. Just good pitch to Crisp, and then a line drive over the bag, and then the strikeout, and then a rocket that could have ended the inning, and then a routine play to left. Adam Lowen, I'll tell you what, if you can get out of this with 1 run, you will certainly take your chances.
Yeah, keeping in mind it was 1st and 3rd, nobody out.
Well, what I like is that he's throwing, looks to me, he's throwing lower strikes. You know, he's been able to get ahead of him. It doesn't mean you're always going to finish him off, and pitch count at 30, and that's what the Red Sox do.
Well, 0-2 on Lowell, 2 on, 2 down, a run in. Oh, it hit him on the batting helmet.
I mean, dead on the batting helmet.
Mike Lowell had no chance to get out of the way.
And you can see Adam Lowen certainly disturbed and distressed by what went on there.
Trying to come inside on 0-2, and it just got away from him. Mike Lowell answering the questions of the trainer. Here's the look at it. Just above the ear flap. The impact of the baseball hitting the helmet.
Well, yeah, I mean, just imagine how stunned you are. No chance to get out of the way. And about earlier last week, he fouled a ball off his left foot. Obviously, this is a little bit more serious, but had to miss a couple of games because of the bruise. And I tell you what, that's why you wear the flap. That's why the helmets. When I broke in, guys didn't wear helmets. They wore the inside protector inside their baseball hat. Terry Francona said, "You sure you're all right?" And Leo Mazzoni is going to come out, and the Oriole pitching coach, to talk to Adam Lowen.
Yeah, what you don't want to have happen here is Lowen be concerned that one got away and he hit Lowell and groove one, and before you know it, it's 5-0. Lowen has allowed 5 home runs in his brief career, and 2 of those home runs have been grand slams.
Well, they got a guy coming to the plate that's as big and strong as anybody. He hit one last night. It looked like the Red Sox, they were trailing 2-1. He hit a 3-run home run in the 7th inning to give Kurt Schilling the Red Sox a 4-2 lead, which Schilling could not hold on. And then he hit one 451 feet the night before.
So Loretta at 3rd, Ramirez at 2nd, Lowell at 1st, 2 down, and Pena batting. The 7th batter in this inning against Adam Lowen. And a strike at the knees. And there's no way that Adam Lowen is throwing at Mike Lowell, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't get to him. Trying to stay.
No, it's part of the
focused.
game. Yeah, getting hit and you're pitching in off the plate, but you never want to do it around the head. But sometimes the ball does get away. You know, we talked about 70 degrees. When's the last time you have pitched in weather like this? And one thing that humidity usually allows, I mean, sometimes as long as you can get the sweat off, it gives you much better feel. This is one of those nights where maybe the ball's a little bit more slick. Curveball, and the way to pitch Pena is to try to stay out of the strike zone. Tremendous power. He came over in the Bronson Arroyo trade, and the pitch count this inning, and again Adam Lowen one pitch away of getting out with only 1 run.
It was 0-2 on Lowell, now 1-2 on Willie Mo Pena. There was a 4-game hitting streak going. Wooden chase, 2-2.
Well, it's the right pitch. I mean, that was a good curveball underneath the strike zone.
Pretty good numbers with the bases loaded. 2 grand slams.
A young kid that started in the Yankee organization.
Late on the swing, look out in the stands.
Well, the one thing for Willie Mo, and I think most people, we saw him early on, and then he had some injury problems, went on the DL, is that if you get to hang around Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz as a young player. I mean, Terry Crowley used to talk about it, Royal hitting instructor, when he was with the Cincinnati Reds bench, and Morgan and Rose and Perez, all Hall of Famers, other than Pete.
He got him. A high fastball. Pena swings through it. So after all that, the Red Sox settle for a 1-run inning. So after all that, 7 batters. Adam Lowen gets out of it with only 1 run in. And he continues to learn, talking to his good friend Nick Markakis on the bench. And here's Ramon Hernandez leading off for the Birds, and he takes high, 1-0. Jim, I've heard you talk so many times about how sometimes 1 inning can determine a start, and Adam Lowen getting out of that jam, that could be the inning, because Boston had him on the ropes. They were a big hit away from breaking it open, and he got out of it. And there's a base hit for Hernandez, who gets a little doink in the right field. He's been struggling, but he'll take it.
Yeah, he needs doinks. In the last 23 games, only 13 hits, now 14 for his last 70, but in his book, he's 1 for 1.
Sam Perlazo put him in that number 5 spot tonight. We showed you earlier his numbers against Wells. He lost the bat, but he gets a hit.
Yeah, a little cutter in on his fist, and well, it's just amazing. You watch games, not only the ones that we're doing, you happen to be watching any other games, bats splintering and a lot lighter bats, even though it's supposedly the wood is a lot better and they're laminated and things like, not laminated, but they have different, they're harder and so forth and whatever, but perfect up here. It's pretty cool in the winter, and, a little kindling.
Fernando Tatis DHing tonight to get another right-handed bat in there. He's been swinging the bat well for the Birds. Off-speed pitch for a strike.
Yeah, my first experience was here in relief of my roommate Robin Roberts when I was 19, and
how'd you do?
I struck out Canigliaro, and with the bases loaded, I came in with the bases loaded and I brought the warm-up ball, and I was so nervous because it was the first time I ever pitched in the big leagues. But what I found out was that Felix Mantilla was a shortstop they had. He hit 31 home runs that year. He hit one of them off me later in the game because it was up and away. And first guys, really the good hitters. If you looked at Fisk and you looked at, Jim Rice had great power the other way, but Petrocelli and Butch Hobson, a lot of those guys, Darrell Evans, if you got the ball out over the plate, they would actually go out and get it and utilize the wall. And of course, Rice could hit it out anywhere. But later on, I inadvertently in that game pitched inside, and they had to bring the ground crew out to get all the splinters from the bat. And I learned a lesson there as pitching at Fenway Park, that you really do have to mix in and out. You just can't stay away. I mean, if you threw it down and away all night long, I suppose, but that's pretty hard to do. And that's why Boomer's going to hit the ball. I mean, what makes David Wells so good is he can change speeds a little bit. He'll cut the ball, which he'll come into the righties, try to get in on their fist. But not as much room here as he had in Yankee Stadium, where he pitched that perfect game May 17th, 1998 against the Twins. At the time Joe Torre was the manager, he said it really changed the way David went around about doing his work.
Tatis pops it up. In on the ball is Coco Crisp, and he'll put it away for the out. 1 down.
And what I said about that is that even David at that point, he had, this is his 19th year, so he'd been pitching a while. He just, body language wouldn't be good. And then ever since he pitched the perfect game, Joe said he just saw a different pitcher, took responsibility. And of course, when he played for the Yankees, he wanted to wear number 3. And they had Babe Ruth, but that's Babe Ruth, so he went to 33. He's number 16 up here. tried to wear the original Babe Ruth hat one night, and they wouldn't let him do it.
Well, he did wear it. He got fined.
Yeah, right.
They told him to take it off. He bought it at an auction. Babe had worn that in a game. Well, he's been with 8 different major league teams as Corey Patterson comes up. Line drive off the glove of Youkilis, a break for the Orioles. That would have been a double play. Hernandez is going to go to third. With Ramon leading off the bag, if he gloves that, that's a double play. It was hit hard, and he couldn't grab it. So Patterson gets a base hit, and here come the Orioles.
Yeah, a couple of line drives. Manny Ramirez has evaded the grasp of Miguel Tejada, and this is just a BB fastball away. Youkilis is going to break to the hole, and then, trying to lean in right and trying to catch left. So Ramon Hernandez, nice base running all the way to third base. And we have seen when the Orioles can create these first and third situations, and of course, longtime fan favorite Kevin Millard coming to the plate. He would love to get a base hit here, maybe a double home run, but nice to hit a long fly ball and tie the game up.
They remember him fondly here at Boston. Patterson, of course, second in the league in steals, so David Wells paying attention to him. And the Orioles will try to run on Javi Lopez if they can.
Well, Boomer has never, ever had a very good move, but what he does do is slide step. And he'll just pick up that front leg and just like that and go. And
double play ball.
Oh, yeah, perfect double play ball.
Gonzalez, Loretta, back to first. There goes the inning. Kevin Millar now 0 for his last 22. Wells gets out of it. 1-0 Boston in the second. Well, here's tonight's IWIF injury report, and you could start a pretty good team with those 5 guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Clement, they expect that he's going to be an important part of here. Wakefield, another starter. Trot Nixon, your regular right fielder. This is the captain right here, biggest loss. And Keith Folk, he was the reason they won in 2004. And, Folk, a couple of rehabs. I talked to Tim Wakefield, said he has a stress fracture of his back. I would imagine that's Jason Varitek coming off the arthroscopic surgery. This is killing him. He is the captain, and one of the reasons they have such outstanding pitching here. And of course, Trot Nixon, very good defensive outfielder, and then there is Tim Wakefield, the knuckleballer.
Javi Lopez to left field and deep. Patterson is there.
Yeah, the wind blowing in tonight here at Fenway, at least off from left over to right field, so it's going to knock down the fly ball.
So Javi batting against his former team for the first time. He is just 4 for 19 with the Red Sox, and there's a good look at the American flag in center field, blowing out towards the pesky pole, almost straight across from center field to the right field foul pole.
Yeah, if you're going to pitch here, of course, if you hit it low, it's going. That's the one thing interesting to me about Fenway is that a lot of times you'll throw some rockets to left field and there'll only be singles or doubles because they hit the wall. And then the can of corns, the fly balls will sometimes, or at least they used to, go into the net. Now they'll go up and what do those seats cost up there? Something like $150.
Oh yeah, that's
that.
a high ticket item.
Yeah. The monster seats.
They've done a great job here because the only place they could go is up.
Well,
they're on all the 4 city blocks.
Yeah, they cleared out a lot of the offices, so there's a lot more room underneath. You go out in right center field, and we're up here, somewhere up here. But out over right center field, they cleared all out that, so you can go there and you can eat and drink and whatever. And then I think some of the offices that took it out way out past right field here at Fenway Park. They added these seats a couple of years ago. These went in over here this year. You're right, and well, I think that's after they got the $1 billion, estimate for a new ballpark here in Boston.
Well, and above the luxury suites on the first and third base side, they added a section as well. Ground ball to Tejada. Miguel has it. Gonzalez away and 2 men down. But don't forget, the Orioles and Twins will get together on Tuesday, August 22nd, 7:05. Get there early. First 10,000 fans, 14 and under, receive a Miguel Tejada jersey bag just in time to head back to school. It's also a Coca-Cola bargain night featuring $8 tickets and $2 Cokes. 888-848-BIRD or get online Orioles.com and reserve your seats. The Miggy jersey bag. Put all your stuff in there to go to school.
Not a new jersey bag, a jersey bag.
So when you go bike riding in Florida, you can bring your bag in case you need a snack.
I have a basket. No, not really.
Do you have a bell?
No. But if you go on the intercoastal, which runs kind of where I live, it runs up about 3 miles. All the older bikers, where's your bell? I left it.
I'm buying you a bell for Christmas.
Left it at home.
Ding ding, ding ding.
That's what they do.
Here comes Jim Palmer. Ding ding.
Yeah, good changeup right there. And Chris comes over. We talked about Johnny Damon goes to the Yankees. Chris hit 300 last year and steal bases. But a lot different playing here in Fenway. Of course, he fractured a finger in Baltimore on the 8th of April. And missed, 42 games, I think? A long time.
Well, the Angels are in New York tonight, and the Angels get the early lead on a Garrett Anderson home run.
Yeah, he's been having a tough year. Had that plantar fascia injury in spring training, and not hit quite as well as he usually does.
Lowen thought he had strike 3 on the previous pitch, and now full on Coco Crisp.
And one thing about Adam Lowen, I mean, it's only his 10th start, but it looks like he's been out there a little bit longer than that. I thought that in his first major league start this year against the Yankees. Like he had pitched 30 or 40 times.
Strike 3 call. Crisp thought he had ball 4, does not like the call. Lowen has a 3-up, 3-down inning. Hey fans, for a purchase, refinance, or a cash out for any reason, call First Fidelity toll free at 1-877 I'll take it. That's 1-877 I'll take it. Oh, the sellout crowd here at Fenway Park. They sell out every game here at the Fens. They opened up this ballpark in 1912, the oldest running major league facility. Wrigley Field opened the same year, but it was used for the Federal League before the Cubs moved in 1914. So they've been playing Major League Baseball here 2 more years than they have at Wrigley Field, as Markakis takes outside.
Had a couple of fires here early on and rebuilt it.
In the days of the wooden bleachers, Nick has been on a tear.
Well, it seems like he gets 2 hits every night or every afternoon up in Toronto. Well, the Boomer is vintage in a way because he got out of the last inning, 1st and 3rd, only 1 out. Millar, fastball hitter, threw him a fastball, but did it on his terms, got him to bounce into a double play. Knew that, probably checked out the notes, knew he was 0 for 21. He's going to be looking to try to do something. Made his pitch, and then all of a sudden, he's sitting on the bench, and his team is hitting. I mean, his fastball 89, 87. He used to, I don't know if he ever threw harder than maybe 92. Had a chance to pitch with Mike Flanagan, the Orioles general manager, and always used to say Flanny mentored him when they were up in Toronto together.
Well, he was drafted by the Blue Jays out of high school in 1982, and it took him 5.5 seasons to make it to the major leagues. Mentioned he made his major league debut in 1987. He signed and went to rookie ball in 82, and he stayed in the minor leagues until 1987.
Yeah, 227 wins is a lot of wins.
Fisted the other way, and that's back in the crowd, and so is Mike Lowell.
Yeah,
he caught it.
What a play! He had to get. How do you not get hurt on this?
What a night it's been for Mike Lowell. He's hit by a pitch in the batting helmet.
Well, maybe that causes you to do something like that. He runs right in the wall. What a play. Jeter a couple of years ago dives into the stand. Look at that play. Just reaches a glove out and then goes over. And of course the umpire, third base umpire, he's just going to check to see if he held on. Brian O'Nora right there. And that got hurt right in the thighs.
And of course the home fans got out of his way.
Well, he won a gold glove last year down in Florida. Disappointing offensive year, but
Ryan Roberts second at bat.
As we mentioned, they have made fewer errors than any team in baseball, and so they got a gold glover at shortstop. Alex Gonzalez has just been outstanding, and there you go.
Pretty impressive when you're ahead of Brooks Robinson on any fielding list. Pulled foul. Well, the Red Sox lead the American League in fielding. And that has been such a turnaround from previous years where they would just try to outslug you.
Yeah, 900 plus runs the last 3 years. Theo Epstein, the general manager, said if you take runs away, it's just like scoring them. That's been the philosophy, at least initially this year. That's why we saw Nixon. He hurt his bicep on his right shoulder on a swing off of John Lackey a couple of weeks ago. He's a very good defensive right fielder. And then, Manny being Manny and left, some nights he can be outstanding. Pretty good throwing arm. They run all over him, and he throws them out on occasion.
2-2 on Bryant. Well, the lineup tonight for Boston, Kevin Youkilis leads the team in errors with 8. And in fairness to Kevin Youkilis, he's learning a new position this year. He came up as a third baseman, and now he's playing at first base. So some of the nuances, but he's doing a pretty good job over there. Ground ball, base hit. Brian Roberts on with 1 away in the 3rd. So the Orioles get their 4th base hit off David Wells, down by a run. Well, local sports coverage that is unmatched. The Comcast Sportsnet team gives you the inside story on all your favorite teams. Tonight was the best local sports show, that's Sports Night, presented by PricewaterhouseCoopers after the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. There's Melvin Mora, strikeout victim, his first at bat. Just got back, leaning the other way. Well, Brian Roberts, 29 steals on the year. That is 6th best in the American League. Corey Patterson, his teammate, 37. That is 2nd best. Sean Figgins is still leading the league in steals. Melvin has hit his last 2 games. Pops this one up, slicing towards the line. Pena, long run in. And he makes the catch and 2 men down. So Mora retired and a big out for David Wells. Well, Brian Roberts has 29 steals, just 1 shy of 30. Corey Patterson already has 37. Brian gets that steal, Jim. It'll be the first time in the history of this franchise that 2 players had at least 30 steals in the same season. It's quite an accomplishment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Al Bumbry and Brady. Al Bumbry, I think, had over 40. Brady had over 40.
But never had teammates in the same year. Louis Aparicio, the all-time leader for a season. And we'll see what Brian does here with Tejada up.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be running here. Because that means he'll probably go. But he... And obviously, if he thinks he can make it, he's going to go. Another day in Toronto, talking about stealing bases, and of course, Miguel was saying he doesn't want to steal a whole lot of bases because of the injury factor or whatever. But Sammy Palazzo said, "Well, you got the green light." After a double, stole 3rd base the other day on Monday.
Well, Rick Dempsey's got a watch. Perlazo has a watch. Elia has a watch. And what they're seeing is David Wells with that slide step getting the ball to the plate probably too quickly to even try it.
It looks like Boomer at age 43 may be paying a little bit more attention. In New York, a lot of times he just would go high leg kick. Now you can see loads on his back leg and very quick to the plate. You hope he may. See, there's a high leg kick, and Brian goes, and he's going to steal it.
And there's the record.
Yep.
30th steal for Brian Roberts. So for the first time in franchise history, the Orioles have 2 base stealers with 30 or more steals in the same season.
And what it allows them to do, I mean, really good study right there, because the minute the leg went behind the rubber, and he must have watched some film, because the minute his leg, he goes to the high leg kick, he's off. You can see how quickly, and Javi Lopez, no chance. A little different numbers. I mean, they got some numbers. He's now 2 out of 27, so There you go. First time it's ever happened since 1954.
67 steals combined for Roberts and Patterson. And now a single can tie the game.
Yeah, but not to left. If it's hit at Manny, there's no way you can score. I mean, that's another little quirk here at Fenway Park.
Yeah, he is shallow.
Oh, he plays the same place. I remember Yaz was terrific playing it off the wall, keeping people from getting to second base, but he would sometimes play on the road there.
Tejada pops it up. Crisp charging in, Pena as well, and the center fielder Crisp makes the grab, so the Orioles strand another. Wells gets out of it. We'll head to the bottom of the third, 1-0. Well, don't forget, Orioles spring training will be here before you know it, so now is the time to make plans to be part of all the action. You can join the Orioles in Fort Lauderdale with the official Orioles spring training travel package, including hotel accommodations, optional airfare, game tickets, and access to an exclusive barbecue with Orioles players, maybe even Jim Palmer. Visit theorioles.com/spring travel or call 1-800-8-WARM-UP. That's 1-800-892-7687. And come on down and join us in Fort Lauderdale. Always a lot of fun. Of course, in the biggest draw is that it's still winter at home.
Can be.
Now, I live there. It is in March.
Well, pretty solid year by Mark Loretta. I mean, that's 1 point over his lifetime average. Doesn't steal a lot of bases, doesn't hit a lot of home runs, gets on base. Ideal second place hitter because he can hit the ball behind the runner. Get your leadoff guy on, and of course now with Crisp, who runs a little bit. If you're Terry Francona, there's a strike, 3-1. As we mentioned, he gets to hit in front of David Ortiz. And right now you're forced with Ortiz and Ramirez coming up to throw this ball somewhere in the middle of the plate. And he's unable to do it.
Well, leadoff walk, not a good idea.
Nope, not with these guys coming up.
You know, this is a big game for the Red Sox. They're trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. They're suddenly trailing the Yankees by 3 games in the division and 4 in the all-important loss column. And they look up on the scoreboard and they see the Angels with a 3-0 lead now on Corey Lytle and the Yankees in the 4th. Garrett Anderson has homered. Corey Lytle has allowed a 2-run home run to Messier Esteuras. So 3-0 Angels, and there's the manual scoreboard along the Green Monster. Ball one high. At one time they had only American League scores on that scoreboard. Did you know that? Mr.
Yes.
Yawkey did not want to promote the other league. They have since added the National League as well. Here's the Oriole Red Sox game. All the information you need here at Fenway Park. And
yeah, Ramon Hernandez going out to give Adam Lone a little information.
American League scores. There's the Morse code, the Yawkey's initials in between the games. And there's the National League games. Nationals have a 2-1 lead at home. Yep, yeah. Mr. Yawkey at one time said, let them get their own publicity. We're not putting their scores up there. Then the Braves left. They went to Milwaukee. Ball 2.
So second time through the order, so Ortiz gets to see the movement on Adam Lowen. And maybe knows a little bit more about him. Made a great pitch 3-2 to strike him out the first time.
3-0. Ortiz has walked 76 times on the year.
Yeah, with 14 of his 41 home runs against left-handed pitching. That was ball 4, and not a good idea to pitch around David Ortiz to get to Manny Ramirez.
Well, Ortiz was expecting that Lowen wouldn't challenge him, and he started heading to first base a bit early.
Well, you get out of there, and of course, if you get the ball anywhere close, what's your frame of reference? If you're the umpire, you're probably going to call that a strike. But that ball, Abdul-Jabbar, that would have been a ball because it was so high.
So back-to-back walks to begin the inning. Not a good idea to give the Red Sox extra base runners this part of the lineup. Here's Manny Ramirez, who drove in the game's only run in the first. A line drive, a hard line drive off the glove of Tejada. There's the strike. Lowen coming right at him.
Well, the Red Sox have almost given up 6 runs in their last 13 games. So if you're pitching against the Red Sox, you certainly respect their offense. They have a very good one, especially in the middle of the order. But you don't want to give David Wells a lot of runs. You know, it's only his 5th start of the year. He is 43. You know, make him be in a close game. And of course, the way you do that is you try to stay away from the big innings. And up here, I always thought, yeah, they're going to hit their home runs, but make them be solo home runs, even though the wind is blowing in. Maybe not quite as hard as it was a couple innings ago. But you walk a couple of guys, and then all of a sudden, the 3-run home run just kills you here. Not only here, just about anywhere, but that was a good pitch, knee-high outside corner, and Manny just takes it. Well, you need a double play ball. You need a grounder, one of your infielders.
Manny thought that pitch was off the plate.
You need to do what David Wells did when Millar came up with runners at first and third and only one out. Got the double play ball.
Line foul down the line. A little late on the swing. But he fouls it off. Players with 25 or more home runs for 12 consecutive seasons. Manny Ramirez, Delgado 11, Vladimir and Andrew Jones 9. And the active players, Manny leading that list. He has 32 this year. Ty lays off 2-2. He's had 5 40 home run seasons.
What about the one he had in '99 when he was playing for the Indians? 44 home runs, 165 RBIs. That's when they had that great offense with Albert Bell and Jim Thome. Mike Hargrove was the manager.
2-2 the count, 2 on and none down. Bounce towards the middle and a base hit gets on through. Here's Loretta to score, so the first walk of the inning comes in and still nobody down. Well, he got the ground ball, but right up the middle.
Well, you could see how they hit 300. Great hitting team, and it's like concrete out there. Not a bad pitch, but that ball just caroms into center field. Very hard infield here. Yeah, pretty good pitch right here. Gets a ground ball, but it's just caroms its way into center field. And there is Loretta to make it 2-0.
So the leadoff walk scores. Ortiz, who walked now at second. And Manny Ramirez has both Boston RBIs. 2-0 Sox. Here's Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis flied out to Conine in left field his first at bat.
Yeah, another guy high on base percentage. Came in, getting on base about almost 39%, almost 40% of the time, 70 walks. So if you don't throw it over, you just...
They don't mind walking.
No. Yeah, let the next guy do it.
Rodrigo, who has been moved to the bullpen, now getting loose. His start will be skipped this time through the rotation because of the days off. There's a strike. Orioles have a very unusual pitching makeup right now. They have a 9-man bullpen with 3 in the rotation because of the days off. Rodrigo would be the 4th. The days off haven't needed a number 5 starter. Excuse me, a 4-man rotation. Bedard and the 3 this weekend. Benson will come off the DL tomorrow to pitch, so somebody from the staff will have to go to make room.
Well, I would conceivably this could be Adam Lowen's last hitter if Rodrigo gets ready.
Ground ball towards third. This could be 2 more. Roberts 1, back to first, and safe. Roberts had trouble on the pivot, and Youkilis beats it out. That could be a big play in this inning. Instead of 2 down, 1 down, and runners on the corners.
They hit pretty sharply, but Melvin makes a nice play to get it because what's the short hop? So he doesn't come and get it. Not sure the hop, and right here I just think Euclid beats this out. Maybe not, but I don't see a lot of hesitations. So right there, pretty quickly turned, but Euclid did that athlete's performance to try to work on his quickness. So routine double play, not routine.
So Euclid legs it out, one down for Lowell. He takes down and in. Lowell has had an interesting game so far. He was beamed in the first inning on a fastball that ran inside and then made a tremendous catch on a foul ball.
Yeah, third in doubles in the American League. And Rowan not able to get his curveball over like he did against the Yankees. He has been working on 2 outstanding starts, one against the Mariners. At least the first 5 innings, only gave up a hit, no walks.
Sharply in foul. Let's get a look at the Geico highlights so far, Jim. The night for Mike Lowell.
Well, the first time up, and you're lucky he didn't get hit. Takes one right off the side of the helmet on an 0-2 pitch and gets up. And then right here, a little soft pop up off the bat of Nick Markakis. Just kind of catches it. Gold glove catch, which is what he was last year. I guess the wall is padded. There's a good changeup in a fastball count. Nice adjustment by Adam Lowen, because when he threw him the fastball 2-0, he ripped it foul. Yeah, a lot of scouts thought that they were the last 3 starts for Adam Lowen, and they have been good ones.
Left field hit deep. Conine back on. It's over his head and against the scoreboard. Ortiz scores. Heading to third is Euclid, and on at first with a long single is Mike Lowell. 3-0 Boston. 2 runs in here in the third.
Well, 2-2 curveball. It's going to hang up a little bit. It's just kind of a little bit too far inside, and Lowell looked like it was going to be his 38th double, but as it turns out, Conine makes a nice play. Here comes David Ortiz to make it 3-0. So now again, the runners at first and third.
Well, the 2 walks to begin the inning now have each scored. Euclid at third. Pena has first and third and 1 down. And another base hit. Line drive to center field. Euclid scores, and it's 4-0. So Euclid had legged out and beat the relay throw on what might have been a double play. He comes in to score.
Well, they're making some nice adjustments. And this team, as we mentioned, very good hitting team, the Red Sox. Anytime you give up 6 runs a game your last 13 games, they've lost 5 in a row. They've scored some runs. Well, there is Euclid, as Jim Hunter told you. Beat out that double play ball. Makes it 4-0. And Sammy Palazzo going to come out and make a pitching choice. Really doesn't have a whole lot of choice.
So Adam Lowen knocked out here in the third inning. Tough debut at Fenway Park for the rookie. Russell Automotive call to the bullpen for Rodrigo Lopez. He inherits 2 on and 1 down in the third. Well, Adam Lowen chased. It's a 4-0 game for the Sox, and they are still batting in the bottom of the third inning. For Adam Lowen, the Pulte Holmes pitching summary, a tough night and a tough line for Adam Lowen, as he is knocked out here in the third inning.
Yeah, Rodrigo Lopez will come in. Coming into the season, he had owned the Red Sox, was 10-5. Struggled a little bit this year. His last start against the Yankees, 4 solo home runs. And what about the irony of this? The last 12 starts before the one on Sunday, and there are the numbers for Rodrigo Lopez. His catcher is a guy now hitting at the plate, and that's Javi Lopez. So the Orioles need a couple of outs here before the Red Sox expand that 4-0 lead.
Javi flied out his first at bat. Orioles could use a double play ball here. Lopez forgot about the runner, going to third, and stealing the base is Mike Lowell. Rodrigo never looked back at him. Lowell picked up on it and took off.
I did that on Sunday, and just one of the things you have to do. You got to pay attention, man. You got to give the Red Sox credit. You go asleep, and they take advantage of it. So Lowell, bounce throw by Ramon Hernandez, and big lead. Double play is still going to be in order because Willie Mo Pena stays at first. So Lowell gets hit, makes the great play, gets the single, steals a base. Having a fine year. Batting average down as of lately.
And Lopez gets a base hit. Lowell scores, and it's a 5-run game.
Well, they love to play here. And as you mentioned, full house, 35-17. I imagine they're just thrilled to get off the road where they had lost their last 5. And Boomer Wells is just sitting there getting a little bit warmer, even though it's a cool night, every time they score another run.
So Javi's 3rd Red Sox RBI. Here's Alex Gonzalez, the 8th batter to come up this inning. Gonzalez, the number 9 batter in the lineup, is just 2 for his last 19. And the Orioles now at a big hole early here in the 3rd inning.
Like Rodrigo Lopez pitching a game the last time the Orioles were up here, and 2-2 ball game, and Alex Gonzalez hit a double down the line and turned the whole game around. Gave up 4 runs, ended up losing. I think a big difference. Rodrigo used to just put fear in the hearts of all Red Sox fans because, as we mentioned, 10-5 coming into the season. But that's, for some reason, velocity down this year. His fastball used to be 92, 93. I still remember when he made his debut. I think it was right here in Fenway Park about 5 years ago on a very cold night. He was throwing 93, 94 miles per hour. Came in relief. Dominated the Red Sox.
And another base hit. This one down the line. Pena will score. Javi Lopez going to 3rd. The ball gets away from Conine. Javi Lopez will score, and Gonzalez will end up with a triple. It's that kind of night for the Sox.
Well, it's the last thing the Orioles need, and it's exactly what the Red Sox need.
He went down and got it.
Yeah, just hit a ground ball, but it's right over the bag. Location of the fastball, not where you'd want, and there you go. Who said it's friendly Fenway Park? That ball goes right in the corner and then kicks down the wall. So Javi Lopez, RBI single, comes all the way around. Really not a whole lot you can do. He thought he was going to get the carom off the wall. Kurt Moden once actually, he went for a ball, went off the wall, went through his legs on the way to the wall, and then threw his legs on the way back. This is not an easy. It looks like it's pretty easy out in left field. Just turn around and play it off the wall, but all kinds of different caroms. It can hit the ladder. It can hit the scoreboard. And then right now the Orioles 7 runs down, forced to bring their infield in. 6-run inning so far.
Has given up hits to each batter he's faced. And the inherited runners have scored. Ground ball to Tejada, who will freeze Gonzalez. And fire to get crisp for the 2nd out. So Adam Lowe on a tough night here at Fenway Park. As he goes just 2 1/3, 6 earned runs on 6 hits.
Yeah, and right here, this started the inning. 2 walks. 35 of those pitches in the 1st inning. Even though with a little bit of help from Tejada, might have been able to get out of that inning unscathed.
And Mark Loretta batting for a 2nd time this inning. Orioles in a big hole.
Well, the Red Sox play the Orioles, then the Tigers come in, the Yankees come in for 5 games, and then they do what the Orioles do, go on a West Coast trip. Angels, Seattle, and Oakland. The Orioles go to Texas, And then they go to Oakland, and then they go to play the Angels in Anaheim. So you get a pretty good idea of what kind of team the Red Sox are, because everybody talking about it this time last year. The Red Sox had about a 5.5 game lead. There's another base hit, fastball up. Rodrigo just not making a whole lot of quality pitches tonight.
Another run comes in.
This is his regular night to start, actually. But then again, how much throwing he has done. So Rodrigo, when he gets in trouble, and the home runs against the Yankees on Sunday were all up in the strike zone. There's the target, there's the pitch. So he misses by about 2.5 feet. Down and away, turns out to be belt high, middle of the plate. And Loretta makes it 8-0.
Not much Sam Perlaza can do.
Well, the good thing is that Rodrigo can pitch 5-6 innings, save the bullpen. Whether he wants to is a whole other issue. You know, it can't be. I'm not certainly not saying that he does not want to pitch, but you know he has happy getting out of the rotation. There's no way he would be. I don't think anybody would. But that may be his cross to bear tonight.
Well, he was removed from the rotation because of how he pitched.
Oh, I understand that. But
he earned the demotion, if you will.
Well, that doesn't mean he's happy about it. I mean, he's a victim of off days and ineffectiveness.
Chris Benson coming off the disabled list tomorrow, so he goes back into the rotation. Cabrera's back. They want to keep him on turn. Want to keep Lowen on turn. Adam didn't have a good night tonight, but he pitched outstanding his last 3 starts combined. Ortiz batting for a second time in this inning. The Red Sox have 9 hits in this game, and 8 of them are singles.
How about last night's game? Kurt Schilling pitching. He gave up 11 hits, 10 extra base hits. It was almost freaky. You watch the game. Loopers, bloopers, ground ball up the middle for a double.
And Ortiz walks for the second time in this inning. First walk allowed by Rodrigo. Manny Ramirez will bat for a second time in this inning. Couple of RBI singles for Manny on the night. He now has 93 RBIs.
Yeah, Manny has never really, for an average, hit Rodrigo Lopez. 232, 13 for 56. Again, we talked about how Rodrigo until this season he was 10-5, but he does have a couple of home runs.
David Wells been sitting on that bench a long time, but
yeah,
his team has scored 7 runs for him.
Yeah, and you will do that to get an 8-0 lead. Boomer will come out, take a couple extra pitches if he can. Well, you talked about the fact he very rarely walks people. And now all of a sudden, you don't change your game plan. You just know that one pitch is not going to, at least at the moment, going to beat you. Not going to make a whole lot of difference. Makes it a lot easier to throw the ball over.
Ramirez has extended his hitting streak here tonight, and he has 2 hits. This year in the American League, Manny now with a 26-game streak, the longest in the league this year. Ichiro Suzuki, a pair of extended streaks, and Nick Punto of Minnesota with a 19-game. Back 1-2.
I guess getting in around 6 o'clock, maybe getting to bed about 6:30 didn't hurt this team. What about the Red Sox coming in from Kansas City? I said the flight was, because of all that was going on in Britain, delayed about an hour and a half. So early morning arrival and didn't hit. And come out swinging.
Well, the Red Sox trying to snap their 5-game losing streak and have a big early lead. Rodrigo trying to end this inning. Ramirez, the 12th batter up here in the 3rd inning. Inside, ball 3. Manny's right on top of the plate, so even pitches that are just off the plate come close to him. He loves it out there over the plate.
He really likes it, and it seems like he likes it everywhere. Out over the plate. If you try to come in too often, he reminds me very much of Roberto Clemente with a lot more power. You look on Roberto, you say, hey, go in, but don't stay there. Go away, but you better be down and away. Throw him a breaking ball. Don't do it too often.
Miles back to 3-2 pitch to stay alive.
And of course, he can hit it out anywhere. Wind blowing in tonight, or at least across the field, so it knocks balls down.
Rodrigo Lopez on in relief of Adam Lowen. This is already the 6th batter that Lopez is facing. Lowen chased after 2 1/3. Runners will be off with the pitch. And he got it. Finally, the inning ends, but the Red Sox send 12 men to the plate, score 7 times to break it open.
Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, back at Fenway Park, it's now 8-0 Boston. We head to the 4th. Here's tonight's Aflac trivia question. Who was the last Red Sox player to hit 500 RBIs over a 4-season span? You're driving 500 over 4 seasons.
Number 14, Jim Rice. Number 14, Jim
125
Rice.
per year average.
I think Jim Rice.
That's a good
I may
guess.
be wrong, but
Good guess.
But then again, it could be
Jimmy Fox. Going way back.
Ted Williams.
Old Double X from the Eastern Shore.
But Gene Stevens.
Could be.
Yeah.
Orioles need some base runners.
Many.
They've had runners on in each inning, but haven't been able to get a run in.
And what does
Boomer
Boomer
out
do?
to right his first at bat.
Boomer sits there for 40 minutes and then throws strike 1. Pretty predictable.
In his career, he averages 1.9 walks per 9 innings. And it's a career that tonight is 623 games long. 452nd start, as Jim pointed out. He's with his 8th different major league team. He's been with the Blue Jays twice. He's been with the Yankees twice. And 72% of the pitches tonight have been strikes.
And we always joke about Boomer being a big guy, and he is. But he's also a tall guy. He's very athletic. I think you lose sight of that. So he's able to repeat his windup. It's been a tough year. We talked about the knee surgery. Won 15 games last year. So I don't know. He's not a guy that's ever going to look good in the gym. There's Gonzalez.
Thought about it.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that about John McDonald up in Toronto making some outstanding plays. So the Boomer, very athletic, able to repeat his windup. There are some the numbers we talked about. 227 win. Only Mike Messina.
The active pitchers with 200 wins, and 2 happen to be on this staff. And Pedro used to be on this staff. .227 major league wins for David Wells. Lowell calls in that line drive off the bat of Ramon Hernandez, so hit hard, but right to Lowell. 1 down. And here's Tatis. David Wells, Jim, has faced 14 batters. Tatis will be the 15th. Strike 1 to 9 of those 14 batters.
And the biggest strike 1 was runners at first and third with Millar up, and he got him to bounce into a double play. Now, I don't know if that's going to change the complexion of this game. The Orioles would have been able to tie it up. Millar batting back in the second inning.
We just jinxed him. For ball 1 to Tatis.
I thought you were talking about because of the cool weather having to wear coat and tie tonight.
I like wearing the ties.
I know.
Well, thank you for
well, I gave
going
you a
along.
weather, gave you a little weather report.
Yeah, I was
coolish.
Very surprised with your phone call this morning with the good news that we can dress up.
Yeah, well, you wanted to do it in Toronto when it was 90.
It wasn't 90.
It seemed like 90.
Tatis has worked the count to 3-0. We really jinxed him. Fernando flying out to center field his first at bat. He's done a good job. He's trying to extend the hitting streak to 3 in a row. Taking all the way as he should, down by 8. What you like about Fernando Tatis is whatever Sam Perlazzo's asked him to do, he said, okay, to try to get in the lineup. Can you play right field? Sure, give me a glove. How about first base? Sure, give me a glove. He's given Melvin Moore 1 day off at third. DHing tonight. Fouls it back, 3-2. Wells has allowed 5 base hits already, all singles, but he has not allowed a run. Sam Perlazzo hoping his club can at least answer back in this inning. Try to begin chipping into the big deficit. High ball 4. So 2 on with 1 down. First walk allowed by David Wells. And the Orioles have first and second with 1 down. Well, here's an invitation to join Brian Roberts at the ESPN Zone next Sunday, August 20th for Brian's Baseball Bash. The event features a variety of local area sports stars, runs from 7 until 10 p.m., and all the proceeds benefit the University of Maryland Hospital for Children. The tickets are $200 for adults, $150 for the kids. Call 410-328-6064. Log on to briansbaseballbash.com for all the information and how to order your tickets. It's going to be a fun night next Sunday. Corey Patterson fouls it back. He singled his first at bat.
Yeah, screamer off the glove of Kevin Youkilis at first base. Youkilis doesn't touch that ball. It's probably going to be a double into the corner.
Corey now has a 3-game hitting streak going, Jim, and his season has been dramatically different. He has owned right-handed pitchers, but has struggled somewhat against the lefties, but he got the base hit his first at bat tonight. When Luis Torrero was here, Sam Perlazzo would even give Corey a night off against a tough left-handed pitcher and allow Torrero to play center field.
And then early on, he would be spotted.
Markakis sometimes moves over from right.
Luis Matos, who actually got released by the Washington Nationals. Luis with the Nationals about a month.
Good eye, 2-1.
Mike Robinson saying just didn't fit in pinch hitting and playing irregularly.
Not accustomed to it.
No.
It is a very difficult job to be a role player in the major leagues, and in particular a National League role player.
Well, yeah, and that's one way of looking, I suppose. But then the other way is, at least the guys I've talked to said, if you can acclimate yourself, it's easier over there because you get to, probably hit 3-4 times a week as a pinch hitter. No DH over there. That's why I guess some guys have made a living doing that. Remember Dave Hansen? I think he was there for years.
Yep.
I think he was with the Mariners the last time I saw him. And you're going to probably get sometime 50 Lenny Harris for all those years.
Denny Walling, who's in the Orioles system now, is their one of the minor league hitting instructors. He played about 17 years.
Well, Terry Crowley. I mean, that's
the Crow.
The Crow went over there, played on a couple of World Championship teams with Sparky Anderson and all those Hall of Famers, 75 and 76.
Patterson down on strikes, 2 away. He came off speed and got him. Third strikeout for Wells.
Well, fastball for a base hit the first time, and then this time he gets ahead of him, and there's the breaking ball. can have a good one. He can throw it over almost any count.
You saw Corey pick that up. He delayed his swing, but the ball just kept dipping on him. 3 strikeouts. And again, it will take a 2-out base hit to get a run in. Here's Millar. Kevin is 0 for his last 22. It was only about 7 inches outside. Kevin a bit upset with that. You don't mind if he does it both ways, but if Wells is going to get that call,
well,
you may as well just head on out.
What David is able to do is take advantage of it. We talked about experience. 452 starts. This is over 600 games. So when he throws the ball for the outside corner, and that what he tried to do there, he figured, you know what, you're going to give me a ball off the corner, I'll throw another one out there. He's usually able to get in that proximity.
You wonder why, though, it's even considered when it's that far off.
Well, it's not supposed to be. And the edict from the commissioner's office a couple of years ago was we're going to have more vertical strike zone, not a horizontal one. And a lot of umpires do it, and they let them get away with it.
There's a base hit in the right field. Conine rounding third, being sent by Troublehorn. Here's Pena's throw, and out at the plate is Conine. So Pena guns down Conine and the inning ends. Javi Lopez had plenty of time to block the plate. Conine tried to get around him and couldn't do it. 2 hits, a walk, but the Orioles cannot score. Well, Tom Troublehorn gambled down by 8, and Conine gunned down at the plate to end the inning.
Yeah, I didn't really see him doing anything down there. I mean, you'll see him right about now, I believe, or maybe right now, and Conine going, and I don't know. It looked like Tom said something, but down by 8 runs, you can't get thrown out of the plate, and he does, and the inning's over. So 6 runs and a walk, 2 of them and a walk in that inning, and nothing to show for it.
Would have been the bases loaded with 2 down, and one of the hotter hitters coming up, Markakis.
Yeah, I mean, that's conventional way you do it.
Still would take another 2-out base hit, but Pena was charging on that soft line drive and made a good throw, and Javi Lopez had time to block the plate, and Conine had to go around him.
Well, what happens with Kevin Millar, and I think your spray charts tell you that, first of all, he doesn't hit too many balls to right field, but he did. But when he does, he doesn't drive the ball that way. So you play him more shallow.
Deep to left field. That's going to hit the monster. Patterson plays it off the wall. Euclid goes into second base with a double. So Euclid doubles off the monster, and Rodrigo Lopez, having as tough a night as Adam Lowen had. Let's get the answer to our Aflac trivia question for tonight concerning runs batted in. Who was the last Red Sox player to have 500 RBIs over a 4-season span?
Or it could be Jackie Jensen.
Vern Stevens. 518, 48 to 51.
Yeah, he played with Ted Williams and Johnny Pesky, who had didn't see Johnny today. I know I was watching a game the other night. He was on the bench. Of course, he had 200 hits his first. There is Johnny. 200 hits his first 3 years. Got to hit in front of a couple of rungs ahead of Ted Williams. Got to play with Ted and Dom DiMaggio. And if you go back and look at some of those teams, those Red Sox teams, they won a lot of games. It's just that it seemed like the Yankees won just a few more.
Yeah, they were battling all those years. He's a great ambassador for the game, Johnny Pesky.
Well, such a nice man.
Mike Lowell as a runner in scoring position. Boston has gone 3 up, 3 down once tonight. That was in the second inning. But they made up for it in the third, sending 12 men to the plate and scoring 7 runs. Melvin Moore gets a tough hop, and Lowell will reach.
This is a very, very fast, firm infield. And if you don't center the ball perfectly or you don't glove it, you better be able to knock it down so it gets on you very quickly. See the ball bouncing out in front, and I would assume that'll be an error. And he didn't catch it. Just again, the pacing of the ball here, almost like turf, but you get some bad bounces. So that is an error by Melvin Moore. Melvin play still in order.
Melvin's 10th on the year, and there's Willie Mopena who's having a good night. Drove in a run with a single, gunned down a run at the plate.
Well, made a nice adjustment against Adam Lowe and singled into right field. Well, when Bronson Arroyo, who was traded to Cincinnati for Willie Moe, ran off those 9 wins, he has not won in 10 starts now. Everybody going, well, you know, you need starting pitching. Wakefield's hurt. Clement's hurt.
Pena's only 24 years old.
Yeah, but in the long run, I mean, this is a guy that's going to got a chance to be a great offensive player.
Willie Moe doesn't like the call. His pitcher's getting that call all night. Terry Francona's club with a big lead. And he got him. They chased the slider down and away. First out in the inning. And 1 down here in the 4th inning. Friday Night Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Force 3, where networks are people. By the Maryland Lottery, let yourself play. By LoJack, the only stolen vehicle recovery system that is operated by the police. And by Wendy's, the best place to satisfy late night cravings. Pickup window is open until 1 a.m. or later. Nice look around Fenway Park. Here's Javi Lopez. It was the first batter Rodrigo faced when he came in the 3rd, and Javi singled a drive and a run and then later scored. Javi was saying before the game he would feel a little strange early on, and once this one's out of the way, the Orioles would become just another team.
Well, it's a great situation for him. I mean, it's difficult because Varitek's your captain. I mean, the reason they signed him after the World Series for 4 years is because what he's done for him, not only offensively, but also behind the plate, understands how important it is. But Terry Francona, I had a chance, I ran into him today because they did not hit, as we mentioned earlier, and he was saying, you know, one of the difficulties for Javi is that he really hadn't caught that much this year. So Mirabelli, he had a home run last night. He usually catches Wakefield, who's not pitching now because of the stress fracture. Well, they tried Corky Miller. There you go.
Most home runs by catchers. Of course, Javi had the 43 home run season with the Braves. Then he signed with the Orioles.
They had 23 the first year.
High chopper to Tejada. Second one. Roberts back to first, and there's 2. So Javi Lopez has ended the inning with a double play ball. We'll head to the 5th. Boston with an 8-0 lead. Miles Coopers, of course, highlights from the Orioles and Nationals games. Rockman getting ready, and agents double duty. Is that a double agent? Well, tune in tonight after the game. Sports Night right here on Comcast Sportsnet. That's not you they're talking about, is it?
No. Caffeine does it for you, doesn't it?
I just ordered one. It's chilly up here. I gotta stay
that
warm.
it is.
Good call on the ties. 8-0 Boston. Orioles are trying to get on the board. They've had base runners every inning, but they can't get a run in against David Wells. Here's Markakis. Nick was robbed of an at-bat continuing his first at-bat on a foul pop-up that Lowell caught falling into the stands. Left field and deep. Manny Ramirez back on it. And that is off the monster, and Markakis will have a double.
That ball hit the bottom of the wall. Manny just kind of figured, you know, wind's blowing in. The ball's going to be way up off the wall, and we talked about how inconvenient if you can drive the ball to left field. So Manny just says, well, there, I don't know what that was, but just try to play it, and there it is. Manny being Manny.
So Markakis gets another base hit. He's now hit 3 in a row, continuing his strong second half. Orioles have a runner at second with none down for Brian Roberts. Towards left center field, Coco Crisp comes in on the ball, hauls it in for the out. That line drive hung up there, and Coco got in on it.
Well, if you're a young pitcher and you watch David Wells, he certainly has an 8-0 lead, but I think if it was 3-0, he'd be still pitching the same way. Not afraid to throw it over. I mean, he's thrown his fastball probably 4 or 5 different speeds tonight. Highest one he's thrown is 89. First pitch to Markakis that he swung through was 85. Then he hit the double. Occasional curveball, occasional changeup. You take your chances. Keep it out of the middle of the plate if you can. Don't try to get into a lot of hitters' counts. Try to throw strike one. And we're going to see John Lester, a young pitcher, who has similar problems as Eric Bedard had early on. Real good stuff. We were talking about Eric Bedard a couple of years ago, and only once has he gotten in past the 5th inning or into the 6th because of pitch count.
Wells tonight, 14 of the 20 batters he has gotten ahead 0-1 or thrown strikes on first pitch. Some of those have been put in plays. Melvin brings his bat.
Another just slow curveball. There you go.
Delayed break.
And he hit it well. Unlike he maybe got it on the end a little bit because he was so far out in front of it. All about bat speed. Trying to create more bat speed. It's kind of I guess intriguing to think that it used to be the big strong guys would use a bat that was bigger, and because they were big and strong they could create bat speed and more mass.
There's Melvin's former bat.
Well, I guess the theory being if it's lighter you can swing it faster.
Wells ahead of Morrow 1-2. Chop to third. Lowell just in time to get Morrow, 2 men down. And moving to third base on the play is Markakis. Now, fans, the 2006 Orioles yearbook is now available. This collectible featuring full-page color photos and stats of your favorite Orioles makes the perfect gift for the O's fan in your life. You can get yours now for just $10 plus $3 shipping and handling. Just call the Birds 888-848-BIRD or go online and order at Orioles.com. Now, once again, it will take a 2-out base hit to get a run in. Here's Miguel Tejada.
Well, they got the right guy up there. Check out his average. Only Ichiro Suzuki with more hits in the American League. There you go again. Strike one.
Iggy was 2 out of 11 in Toronto, 1 out of 2 tonight. Markakis at third with 2 outs. Went too far on the check swing.
This is what Phil Cousy is looking at, and a lot of times that pitch not called.
Bounce towards the middle, but there's Loretta, and he'll get it to first, and the inning ends. So once again, the Orioles leave a runner, base runners every inning, cannot score. 8-0 Boston. 8-0 Red Sox. Boston coming up here in the bottom of the 5th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles. and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. Alex Gonzalez leads off against Rodrigo Lopez. Rodrigo on in relief of Adam Lowen. He's gone an inning and 2/3. Lowen lasted just 2 1/3. Gonzalez tripled off Lopez, drove in 2 in the 7-run 3rd inning. Gonzalez only 29 years old. He's out of Venezuela. Florida let him go. They couldn't afford him anymore.
Yeah, their second baseman playing with the Twins, Luis Castillo, so they use. And then Lowell, of course, I think everybody knows that Delgado goes to the Mets. They lost their whole infield and 2/3 of their outfield, talking about the Marlins. And then Theo Epstein, as we mentioned, last year Edgar Renteria makes 30 errors in his first year. They trade him to Atlanta. Of course, he's having a very good year. Much more comfortable, apparently, in the National League than he was over here in the American League.
Broke his bat. Mora and Tejada. Melvin calls. 1 down. Pretty good comeback there by Lopez, who was down 3-0. Back to the top of the lineup, and here is Coco Crisp batting for a 4th time.
And on paper, a lot of the moves they made looked like they were going to be good. Coco Crisp hit 300 last year. Last couple of years, 15, 16 home runs, can steal bases. They don't have to spend $40 million to get Johnny Damon. They felt that they had made a significant offer to him. The Yankees outbid him for the services of Damon as he hits a shot to Millar, 2 outs.
The former Red Sox player back at Fenway Park.
And of course, you also in that Renner, in the deal they make, they get Josh Beckett, who's been a little bit of a mystery. I mean, he's won 13 games, but he's thrown a lot more home runs than he ever threw in the National League.
And the deal was, if you want Beckett, you have to take Lowell.
Yep. You get a chance to get a 26-year-old guy that they've signed to an extension to, that possibly can certainly be a number 2 guy and maybe a number 1 guy. You don't get the deal for them very often.
Mark Loretta's been on base all 3 times tonight. Twice in the 3rd inning. He led off that 3rd inning with a walk against Adam Lowen. Later on in the inning, singled a drive and a run against Lopez. Two and 1. Mark Loretta came over from the Padres. Doug Mirabelli went the other way, and then they made the trade to get Mirabelli back because Josh Bard, who was brought in to be the backup catcher, couldn't catch Wakefield.
Yeah, he came over with Chris from Cleveland, and there is Theo Epstein. Hey, he was remarkably calm considering they had lost 5 in a row and everybody going nuts up here. The Yankees made all the deals. He said, I am not going to mortgage the future. They had all kinds of deals, at least were talking about them, and none of them made sense. He said he likes this club if they play up to their capabilities.
Popped up. Roberts over towards the line. Here comes Markakis, and Markakis makes the call and the catch. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Rodrigo Lopez. We'll head to the 6th on Friday Night Baseball. 8-0 Boston. Welcome back to Fenway Park, our Advance Auto Parts game reset. Jim Hunter with Jim Palmer at the fence, and it's been all Boston. They found their bats tonight. They've had quite a few singles in this game, but able to group the hits in a 7-run inning.
Yeah, well, we talk about crooked numbers. David Wells certainly likes him, and Markakis with a double. Owen struggled, tough first inning, and then a couple of walks in the third, and that led to that 7-run inning. Rodrigo Lopez came in, did not pitch well, so there it is. And the amazing thing is, can you imagine the Red Sox thinking that they would be in second place? Go back to the first of about 10 or 11 games ago. They had a 1-game lead with Boomer Wells not winning a game as we get into the second week of August.
Yeah, from August 1st, they've gone from 1 ahead to 3 behind. 2-0 on Konai.
If you weren't with us at the beginning, only the 5th start of the season for David Wells. 15-7 last year, knee surgery. Started early, got knocked out in early April, and then went back on the DL. Then get hit by the line drive pitching against Tampa Bay. Travis Lee went back on the DL. Did not have a rehab start this time. Just did some simulated games, and they said, you know what, we'll throw him out there, see how he does. 3, 4, 5 starts. His last start was at Tampa Bay, and David Ortiz played third base because Manny Ramirez's knee was bothering him, and he makes an error, and he gives up 4 unearned runs early on and ends up losing.
Konai takes high, 3-1.
He's throwing 85 miles per hour, but again, the key to beating somebody that's 43 years old, even though he's got a shutout not at the top of his game, is to stay close, put some pressure on him, and the Orioles haven't been able to do that tonight.
Popped up. Willie Mopena in right will put it away, and 1 down in the 6th. Well, the American League East has flipped in the Yankees' favor since the 4th of July. The Yankees were pounded that day by the Indians. And since July the 5th, you see the records. 20-9 for the Yankees. Boston a game under. The Blue Jays 3 under. And the Blue Jays really missing an opportunity to be closer.
Yeah, they lost 7 in a row. They've won the last 2.
Blue Jays are in Minnesota tonight. They have a lead in the 3rd, 5-1. Ramon Hernandez has singled and lined out hard to 3rd. One on Ramon. Off speed, 1-2.
Yeah, just a little off. That's how he got out of the last inning. Threw a nice changeup and got Miguel Tejada to bounce it over to Loretta at second base. Got him out in front. David Wells, one of a kind. That mold was shattered many years ago. But he is the 14th. And there's that curveball. 14th.
Ramon Hernandez doesn't like the call, and 2 men down. Time now for the Just for Men hair color Tarkin spotlight on David Wells.
Now the Boomer trying to go for career number 228. There's the big curveball to start it off. Fastball outside corner. Melvin caught a little bit off the plate. Another curveball to get Corey Patterson out.
4 strikeouts, 1 walk, no runs.
Well, the amazing thing is that he has won as many games, more games, than he was the 14th winning a left-hander in the history of the game.
Now you know why Ramon Hernandez was upset. That was about a foot outside. And it bent around the plate on top of it.
There you go. 16 lifetime wins against the Orioles.
You could see, I know you talk quite a bit about the ball width and maybe 2 ball width, but
well, no, see, you have to
6
understand
inches?
the edge of the ball I mean, the ball can appear to be off the plate, and there's Kurt Schilling, and this is how he pitches. The plate's 17 inches wide, but if you take the circumference of the baseball, you can make the plate, because all the one edge has to hit the plate. It doesn't have to. In other words, if you could take the ball and actually add another about 2 1/4 inches, and the edge of the be hitting it, so the plate can be somewhere around 22 inches if you can command the ball. But that curveball went around the plate, and Chuck Merriweather, they have Quest Tech here, at least they used to, a camera system. You got a bad grade on that call.
Right to Gonzalez at short. Tatis retired in a 3-up, 3-down inning. First time tonight Wells has retired the side in order. 24th, Minnesota in town at 7:05, and it's Melvin Mora bobblehead night presented by Old Bay Seasoning. As you know by now, this is part 2 of the 2 bobblehead set commemorating the unique Mora Roberts victory handshake celebration. The Orioles are now giving away the Mora bobblehead to the first 25,000 fans. No age requirement on this one. 888-848-BIRD or online Orioles.com and get that collectible, the Melvin Mora bobblehead. 8-0 Boston as the Sox come up in the bottom of the 6th. Orioles have gone 3-up, 3 now for the first time tonight, and here's David Ortiz against Rodrigo Lopez. Ortiz has not put the ball in play in 3 plate appearances. Adam Lowen struck him out in the first inning, walked him in the 3rd, and then Lopez walked him in the 3rd. Back into the sellout crowd, 1-1.
So he comes over in 2003, and he doesn't, hardly even plays early on. 2003 played in 31 of the first 52 games. Remember Jeremy Giambi? He played before Ortiz did that year, and then things changed. He was 5th in the MVP. That's why right there. Oh yeah.
Markakis has to go over his head and against the wall. Throw to second base, not in time. Ortiz has a double. Well, David Ortiz has been a clutch hitter in his career. It's going to look at the Coors Light Cold Blast. And David Ortiz has had some memorable walk-offs.
He's had like 15 of them right here. And last year against B.J. Ryan to beat the Orioles, it's almost automatic.
Walk-off home runs since coming to Boston. And he's still only 30 years old.
Yeah, so he 2003 he's 5th in most valuable player voting. The next year he's 4th. Last year Alex Rodriguez won. He was 2nd. And the guy always hitting behind him is right here. So you wonder why you ever pitched to Ortiz. It's because of Manny Ramirez.
Corey Patterson hauls it in for the out. David Ortiz is going to have a tough time winning an MVP because a lot of the voters discriminate against him because he DHs most of the time. There are a lot of voters that just feel that because Alex Rodriguez or a player like Alex plays both ways. Corey Patterson's throw going by David Ortiz. David letting Corey know that he's there and he's aware of him.
Well, how do you miss him? He's a big man. Well, signed with the Seattle, got traded to the Twins, where his hitting instructor was the Orioles hitting instructor Terry Crowley. And Crow always said, tremendous eye at the plate, power to all fields, very, very quick bat, very, very strong, very hard worker as far as trying to become a good young hitter. And he hits 20 home runs, and they don't want to let him go to arbitration because they're a small market team. Didn't think that they could afford him, and the Red Sox pick him up. Another good move. Doesn't play early on, and then it's 31 home runs like the second half of the year.
Youkilis has worked the count to 3-0.
Well, it's automatic, isn't it? Might as well just put 2-0 on the board and let him hit. There's Ron Jackson.
Taken all the way. Euclid, a very popular player here. He's 27 out of Cincinnati.
Well, he's a smart hitter. I mean, forget the fact that he works the count because he's got a great eye and he's very disciplined. But right there, he's not going to swing at that pitch. And most hitters are very reluctant to hit with 2 strikes. He's a little bit more comfortable because if you don't make a good pitch and it's outside the strike zone, he'll go down to first base because of that plate discipline.
And he got him. 2 men down. So from 3-0 for a strikeout, good comeback there for Rodrigo Lopez.
Yeah, a little bit extra, 88 miles per hour, and he gets them to chase. You don't see him do this very much. We talked about high on-base percentage, about 40% of the time, walked 70 times. Nice pitch by Rodrigo.
There's Mike Lowell, who's been on base all 3 times tonight. He was hit on the head on the batting helmet. Adam Lowen hit him in the first inning, singled a drive and a run in the third, reached on an error in the fourth. It's interesting, the Red Sox hitters are all looking back at Chuck Merriweather with that pitch off the plate. And they've been seeing it all night long when they're in the field because David Wells has been exploiting it all night long. Now Lowell feels upset because he's down 0-2 because he took a pitch he thought was a ball because it was. It was called a strike.
Well, it makes a big difference. I mean, if you're pitching, the difference between being 1-1 or 0-2 versus 1-1 could be huge. 2 of the last 3 innings, the Red Sox have gotten leadoff doubles, and if Rodrigo gets them out, they will have failed to score. So after he came in and he struggled in the inning where he actually relieved Adam Lowen, he was pitched well.
Settled down. He was given 5 hits, but 3 came in that 3rd inning after he came on to relieve Adam Lowen. And he got him. Mike Lowell doesn't like it. He's down on strikes, flips the bat. So a double, a man left. Will enter the 7th. 8-0 Boston. Highlights, scores, news, and more. Sports fans, this is the show for you. Local coverage with more on the big stories. Sports Night, the heart of local sports, all presented by Price Waterhouse Coopers after the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Willie Mopena moves to left field. He was in right. Manny Ramirez done for the night. And the veteran Gabe Kapler comes on in right field. There's Gabe. He's the 4th outfielder on this club.
And Boomer Well into uncharted territory in the 2006 season. That is the 7th inning. Last start he went 6 innings, 8 hit, 5 runs, only 1 of them earned against Tampa Bay. Red Sox lost 8-5 in that game.
Corey Patterson has 1 hit on the night.
And that was the 77th pitch of the evening for David Wells, 52 of them strikes. On 84, 85, most of the fastballs tonight.
He has struck out 4. He has walked 1.
And scattered 7 hits.
Off speed. Got him out in front. Sam Perlazo has only 2 left-handed batters in the lineup tonight. He has Fahey and Gibbons on the bench. Patterson and Markakis playing. Wells has had only 1 3-up, 3-down inning, but the Orioles have left 6 men on. .64, they list him at 248. I said they list him
yeah.
at 248.
Well, I mean, when you get knee surgery and you've had a tendency to be a little chunky. A couple of years ago he did, I guess maybe 3 years ago, he said if He's only going to drink something that's clear that you can see through. No beer. Well, he made some adjustments in his training program. But again, he's always been an athletic guy, but he's had years where he got the gout. I remember when he came to Baltimore, I was down in spring training, and he had taken his motorcycle and come over from Tampa. I think he lived outside of Tampa Bay at that time. And I said, welcome to the Orioles. And he says, you know anybody in San Diego? I want to get traded there. It was his first day of spring training, and I said, boomer. And Larry Lucchino, who's now the club president up here, was actually running the Padres. I said, have a good year, and maybe we can. But that's Boomer's Boomer.
Didn't he sign with the Orioles as a free agent?
Yes.
Could have gone to San Diego.
And that's where he grew up.
Lifted in the right field. Kapler makes the running grab. One away here in the 7th inning. Let's get a look around Fenway Park. Our First Fidelity sights and sounds of the game. Lowell having a big night and survived the fastball on the batting helmet. Here's Kevin Millar. Kevin 1 out of 2. He singled his last at bat. That snapped an 0 for 22.
Yeah, single to right, and then Jeff Conine tried to score from second, and really Mo Pena threw him out at the plate. Down by 8 runs, and that ended that inning. And then the first time up, that double play ball, runners at first and third, another opportunity.
Left center field and hit well. And that's going to come down off the scoreboard. Millar heading to second base, and he is in with a double. Coco Crisp looks surprised that Kevin Millar was trying for 2, and Kevin has a 2-hit night. Ford in-game box score for the Orioles tonight. They've certainly had their base runners, but Wells keeps getting the big out.
Yeah, and he scattered now 8 hits, so only the 1 walk, and it was almost kind of like a pitch around. And when he's gotten base hits, it seems like, the Pena throw to get Conine at the plate, and then he made a good pitch to get Millar out. So a lot of opportunities, but once again, anytime you give up 7 runs in an inning, makes it very difficult to keep your guys focused. Just the way it is. You're down by 8 runs. Guys are maybe trying to do a little bit too much, swinging for home runs.
Kakis takes too tight. Nick doubled over the head of Manny Ramirez in left field off the scoreboard. That was in the 5th inning.
Oh, there have been some really great at bats on this road trip. The 3-run home run to left center field, drove it into the bullpen up in Toronto.
There's Craig Hansen in the Boston bullpen. Hard throwing youngster.
Well, they have a couple of those. Papelbon, their closer, throws 97. Hansen's right around that number. Hard slider over 90 miles per hour. Still trying to learn how to pitch.
Markakis pops it up. Gonzalez will put it away for the second out. So Nick ahead 2-0 and pops up the fastball.
Yeah, because Boomer's not afraid to throw it over, and that scoreboard makes it a lot easier to do that. I mean, if you're Terry Francona, you just have to be thrilled. You've lost 5 in a row. The last 13 games, your pitching staff's almost given up 6 runs a game. That's the aggregate earned run average. You got a guy who hasn't won. It's only his 5th start. He didn't get in at 5. Well, maybe he did, but he didn't come with a team. He probably came ahead early, got his rest last night. So he goes out there, they get him a bunch of runs, and then he's 1 out away from shutting out the Orioles for 7 innings.
Brian Roberts singled and stole a base in the third. Tim Wakefield with Kurt Schilling, Doug Mirabelli.
Yeah. Kurt Schilling saying, boy, what a disaster last night. 4-2 lead. He ends up giving up 3 doubles and a single in the 8th inning, and the Red Sox lose 5-4. He said, I don't throw 35 pitches an inning. I do it in a hurry if I ever get hit hard. And he said, not one ball hit hard, and yet they lose. It was a tough road trip.
There's the combo, Josh Beckett and Kurt Schilling. The top of the rotation, 27 wins combined. The rest of the Boston pitchers just 24.
Well, that's why it's so important to get David Wells back and keep him healthy.
Roberts takes high, ball 3.
Well, just think Roger Clemens, similar age, and what did Clemens want to do? He didn't want to pitch the month of April and May, and why? He said he wanted to be sharp if the Astros could get into the postseason. I mean, David Wells certainly going to be a lot fresher than most guys at 43 that would have pitched all season long if he can get his game together.
And 3-2. There's Josh Beckett.
The Orioles will miss Schilling and Beckett.
He's supposedly having a bad year, and he has 13 wins. Line drive to left, and that's going to get down for a base hit, and the Orioles will get on the board. Here's Millar to score. Brian Roberts hustling the second base as the ball got away from Pena, and he stops at second with an RBI double. So the Orioles finally break through here in the 7th inning, 2 doubles, and it's 8-1.
Yeah, just 3-2 fastball, 8-0 lead. You got to throw a strike. He does. Pena can't get it. And again, we told you about the quirks. There it is, bouncing off the board, and it looks like they may make a pitching change right here. Dave Wallace is coming out. Dave Wallace. I'm going to ask Boomer. I mean, Al Nipper, the pitching coach most of the year. Dave Wallace started the season driving to spring training and had salmonella attack. He had a hip replacement about 11 or 12 years ago. And there is Al Nipper. So he's been the pitching coach most of the year. Now Dave Wallace resuming his place, and the hip, they had to put a new one in, only about 2.5 months old. So really the two of them will be the pitching coaches for the Red Sox down the stretch.
So Wallace back to the bench, and Melvin Mora will try to get Robertson. Hansen is ready in the bullpen if they need him. Wells been around a long time. He just keeps going out there and he keeps getting calls. Roberts had a good at-bat to work the count in his favor and then doubled. Play nothing in 2.
See, and that's a perfect example of what happens. You get a ball on the corner or just off the corner, and then all of a sudden you throw it up and in. You cut it in a little bit, and Melvin figures, well, I better cover that outside corner because that's the pitch that he's able to get, even the one that's a little bit off the corner. So he goes out, and that's where his strength is. Not that he can't hit the ball in, but when he's hitting his best, he can throw the ball just off the corner. He'll hit it in the right center field. So now Boomer is in a position where he's going to try just to stay out of the middle of the plate.
Popped them up. Shallow left towards the line. Gonzalez takes charge, puts it away, and the inning ends. So Melvin Mora is 0 for 4. Wells gets out of it. 7th inning stretch, 8-1 Boston. Comcast Sportsnet. That means so far $5,400 will be donated to the Children's Cancer Foundation. Well, David Wells leaving as he got the final out in the top of the 7th, and the Red Sox fans gave him a standing ovation.
As they should. He pitched very, very well. As had Rodrigo Lopez after the 1 inning when he came in relief. What he's going to do, some action in the Oriole bullpen as we speak. But he has saved the bullpen. A couple of games coming up over the weekend. Off day on Monday before the Orioles go to New York.
Well, there are those that believe that Rodrigo's best role might be as a reliever, because one time through the lineup he could be as good as anybody.
Of course, if you've won 14 and 15 games on a couple of occasions, make a lot more money doing that than being a long guy, or maybe even a setup man. But a lot of home runs, high ERA. Started the season, won the first game of the year, but didn't really pitch well. Won 9-6 on opening day, and then lost the next 7. Turned his season around up in Seattle on the 25th of May.
Pena down on strikes. 5th strikeout for Rodrigo. Let's get a look at the forward in-game box score for the Red Sox, and most of the damage done in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, 5 base hits, a couple of walks, and they score 7 runs.
Every player in the lineup with a base hit.
Yep. And Ramirez with an RBI, and Lowell with an RBI, Pena with an RBI, Javi Lopez. Gonzalez hit the triple down the line. It's going to be a double, but it's got into the corner and shot out towards center field. But it was all started with a couple of base on balls. And off of Adam Lowen. And Rodrigo came in, and
Javi Lopez has another base hit, 2 for 4 against his former team.
well, he's a pretty good hitter up and out over the plate. That's what he hit the right field off of Rodrigo. I guess the irony is that when Rodrigo Lopez turned his season around, Javi Lopez started catching. They went 7-4 together. But he certainly knows Rodrigo, and Rodrigo certainly knows him. He's seen him hit over the last 3 years, but that's the happy zone for Javi Lopez, up and out over the plate.
Alex Gonzalez, the number 9 batter. Popped up, shallow right. Markakis charging in on it. Puts it away for the 2nd out. Well, it's another sellout here tonight. 279th in a row. 53rd home game, 53rd sellout this season, 36,191. Tough ticket here at Fenway Park. Coco Crisp, the leadoff hitter. Singleton scored in the 1st innings. 0 for 3 since. The other thing the Red Sox liked about Crisp when they made the trade with the Indians to get him is he's a switch hitter. So at the top of the lineup, like the Orioles have with Brian Roberts, you can pencil him in there every day, and it doesn't matter who's pitching.
Of course, Damon hits everybody too, but a lot less money.
Coco's talking to his bat.
No, he's talking to Ramon Hernandez.
He was disguising it.
Either that or he's telling Chuck Merriweather, hey, nice, thanks for that big strike zone for David.
He should. And to Wells' credit, he knew how to exploit it, and he did.
Well, they do have the Questec camera system, which is a global positioning, 3 cameras. I think they're one by the first base dugout, one by the third base dugout, and then there's one to the left of home plate, and you get a reading. But tonight you don't need cameras. If you're an umpire supervisor, and they do have them, all you have to do is sit behind home plate, and you realize that this guy's not calling the game the way you're supposed to. Not that he's a bad umpire. Just make the the ball be over the plate, and that's what the commissioner office wants. That's what that camera, and that ball just a little bit away. So,
and again, you could see close pitches, but 6-7 inches off the plate he's calling.
Well, you're not supposed to even give him 1 or 2 inches off. I mean, that was the edict from the commissioner's office. They just wanted to change the strike zone. They went from having National League umpires and American League umpires to having umpires that just umpire in both leagues. There's no distinction between them. And it just said, you know what, we want to change the strike zone. We don't think it's not fair to have balls called 2, 3, 4 inches off the plate, which has really been the case. And there's just guys that do it time after time after time, yet they still umpire.
I just don't understand how you could look at a pitch like that and believe it is a strike. It's nowhere near the plate.
And Chuck's a guy that sits pretty much right over the catcher. He's upright. See, he's not, maybe he moves right there. You could see Ramon Hernandez moved, so he just moved with him. There are some umpires that actually sit on the inside shoulder and look across the plate. So obviously sometimes when you're looking diagonally across the plate, you don't get as good a view of that outside corner. But Chuck Merriweather is a guy that's pretty much right behind the umpire. Not like the old days when the American League umpires had that big balloon. And the strike zone was a lot higher.
And a base hit up the middle. Well, Javi Lopez coming towards the plate. The Sox add another run, and it's 9-1. So the walk got Lopez in the scoring position, and Mark Loretta drives him in. Well, once again, it's an 8-run lead.
Well, he's been red hot, and we talked about the fact that at one point in this season, Sammy Palazzo is going to come out and get Rodrigo Lopez. He was hitting in the low 200s, about 201. Well, Loretta can flat out hit.
They have not yet made the signal to the bullpen, and they're going to stick with him.
Well, we talked about saving the bullpen, and Rodrigo, because he's a starting pitcher, as long as he feels like he can still pitch, that's what he's able to do.
2 outs in the inning. But again, the walk hurt the Orioles. The 2 walks in the third set up Boston for a big inning, and the walk to Coco Crisp pushed the runner in the scoring position, and Loretta drives him in. And now David Ortiz comes up.
Ortiz has never ever hit a home run off Rodrigo Lopez. He's hit him pretty well, as he does most people. 13 for 41, at least coming into tonight's game. Already the double in the 6th inning. Get an idea that that ball, I don't know, it might have gone out of Baltimore, but it would certainly been off the wall. There's a lot of room. You can go right down the line, but right center to the bullpen.
Right back to Lopez. And he'll get it to first to get Ortiz, and the inning ends. Boston does add a run. We'll head to the 8th. Once again, an 8-run lead. Very deserving honor, and he certainly does deserve it. He's had a terrific year. New pitcher comes on for Boston as we go to the 8th. Nice moon on this very clear night in Boston.
Bella Luna. Were you down in the north end of Boston?
Last night?
Italian? Yeah, I figured that. So Craig Hansen, only 22 last year. He was pitching in college at St. John's. They signed him. Actually, Kyle Snyder. I don't know. Hansen was warming up. They bring in Snyder, who came over from Kansas City.
Yeah, they had Hansen getting loose when Wells was running into some trouble, but then when Boston got the run to make it an 8-run lead again, they go to Snyder.
Yeah, he was claimed on waivers on June 16th. And of course, my mistake due to a misshapen score cup. No, it's actually rectangular. That's what Howard said one night when he had Lonnie Smith confused with Greg Lisinski. They didn't look exactly alike.
Could see how they'd make, pass for brothers.
One was an African American, about 5'10". The other guy was weighed about 270 and was Polish. Misshapen score cup.
2-0.
A couple of starts, actually 4 starts for the Red Sox, and ERA of almost 6 runs a game.
Tejada to deep right, but there's Kapler, and he hauls it in for the out. 1 down here in the 8th inning. Comcast Sportsnet coverage of Friday Night Baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With more flights to more places, Southwest is taking low fares farther. Visit southwest.com. By your Toyota dealer, where you'll find the ride of your life. Toyota, moving forward. By Pulte Homes. There are 15 new communities in the greater Baltimore area. Please visit Pulte.com for more information. And by Pennzoil. Not just oil, Pennzoil. Conine takes ball 1. Jeff 1 out of 3 on the night. You can see the reaction of hitters on both sides tonight, and the main reason is that they work hard to swing at good pitches. They work with their hitting coaches who preach to them, lay off balls, swing at strikes. And you got Chuck Merriweather giving the pitcher about 6 inches off the plate. And
well, it wasn't always 6 inches, but he had an ample strike zone. And what do most pitchers want to do, especially if you're 43 years old? You want to throw enough strikes to get them to swing at balls, and then if you can get an umpire. And we saw that last year. David Wells pitched very well in Baltimore and had a very big strike zone. So did Clement. He came up here, the Orioles coming up to Boston, and they knocked both of them out of the game. We just had umpires that had a little bit more smaller strike zones. So Kyle Snyder now 5 1/3 scoreless innings after they moved him from a starting pitcher to the Red Sox bullpen.
Ramon Hernandez will bat with 2 outs and nobody on. Sellout crowd at Fenway Park. And Snyder goes from last place Kansas City to the Red Sox, who have a shot at the playoffs. Ramon singled in his first at bat. He's got 11 games without an RBI, 28 games without a home run.
Yeah, he's going through a month or so of just not driving the ball. I asked Terry Crowley, the hitting instructor, and of course a couple of weeks ago they always work together, but he came out and hit during that real hot spell in Baltimore when it was 101, 103, and probably about maybe 2 months ago it was basically just try to swing easy early on, get the bat head, feel what it's like, and then they work a little bit harder, and they tried that. And I said, do you look at films? He said, it's hard when you get veterans. A lot of young players, there's obvious flaws in your swing. There you go, 108 at bats without a home run, but with Ramon, it doesn't seem to be the case. And a lot of guys, you get into a little bit of a slump, you're still hitting the ball hard. That's just not the case with Ramon. He's just gotten in one of those funks.
And he walked him with 2 down. So Ramon down to first as Snyder allows a 2-out base runner, and Jay Gibbons comes off the bench now to bat for Fernando Tatis to get a lefty up there against Snyder. Gibby had his 12-game hitting streak halted the other day when he went 0 for 3.
Yeah, off day yesterday, so you get an opportunity for Jay, as you mentioned, to snap that streak up on Wednesday afternoon against Roy Halladay, but Jason Johnson, a right-hander, so he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. You'll probably also see, I would assume, Brandon Fahey would probably play left field.
Jay has really been swinging the bat well since coming back. Down the line, will it stay fair? That is a foul ball. After the crowd, sounded like he broke his bat.
Well, new bat's coming out of the dugout.
Ramon's back to first base.
Yeah, it does have that distinctive sound, doesn't it?
So Jay gets the new one. Some of the pine tar on it, or some of the stickum. Get a better grip. See, Jay prefers to bat without batting gloves, so that's. Oh, he's got one on tonight. One batting gloves.
It's coolish.
Pigeon-toed stance.
Yeah, it keeps that front side back. 9-time Gold Glover Dwight Evans, who played up here for years, actually ended his career with the Orioles. He used to take that front foot, turn it in, and actually raise it a little bit, just to make sure that you stay on your backside and load. And so much characteristics of what you need to be a good hitter you have to do with a pitcher. The pitcher's always talking about, can you get the arm up, load, and explode towards the hitter, and the hitter's trying to stay back and load on that back leg. A good curveball, and Jay Gibson finding out about that strike zone.
So 2-out walk, a man left, 9-1 Boston. Those kind of nights, as a starting pitcher, you loved it. You do your job. The hitters get you some runs, get you a lot of base hits, keep the pressure off. David Wells did that because the Red Sox were able to give him a big lead, and he knew how to protect it.
Yeah, 7-run third inning, and we wondered if Adam Lowen would be affected by the fact that this was the first time he ever pitched in Fenway Park, and that seemed to be the case. Didn't pitch horribly until the third, couple of walks, and then they got to a point where between Adam Lowen and Rodrigo Lopez, they got 5 hits and put 7 runs on the board. Russ Ortiz, who had a chance to start up in Toronto, and you can see the numbers, just horrible numbers, and trying to he got in some bad habits, and 90 pitches in 3 innings on Monday, so certainly not what he wanted. A couple of home runs, and just trying to work hard to hopefully be able to command the ball. He said it's just amazing how when he makes bad pitches, they all seem to be in the middle of the plate.
Dave Kapler, first ball swinging to deep center field, but right out there is Patterson, who runs it down near the triangle. 1 pitch and 1 down. Our Geico highlights Manny Ramirez with a big night before he left to extend a hitting streak to 26 in a row.
Yeah, curveball, and this is a play that kind of at least early turned the game around. They would score a run. And then right here, another base hit. Looked like it could have been a double play ball, but hard infield, shoots it up the middle. A couple of hits for Manny. So in this hitting streak, came in hitting .402. And those numbers get a little bit better. That first pitch that Ortiz hit that Kapler skied to center field.
Jerry Crawford, the second base umpire, noticed a purse or a bag falling out of the stands. The ball girl will go down and retrieve it. Somebody is without their belongings now.
The first pitch 92 miles per hour from Russ Ortiz. And what he's trying to do is he got in a bad habit of just kind of taking his right arm and picking it up, kind of like sometimes you see catchers do, instead of swinging and getting some extension. But for him, and anytime you have a 12-point ERA, the ball is just arriving in the middle of the plate too often.
Well, the Orioles are faced with a roster decision, if not after the game tonight, prior to the game tomorrow, because Chris Benson comes off the disabled list to make the start, which means somebody from the staff has to go. Jim Duquette is on the trip. He joined the team here in Boston today. Youkilis down on strikes, 2 men down.
A couple of strikeouts for Kevin Youkilis tonight, and that was a fastball well located, up and in.
Because Benson is not yet active. We talked about this earlier. Tonight it was a 9-man bullpen with the 3 starters, and Benson laying in the wings on the DL.
And good breaking ball there. I mean, real good.
The Orioles wouldn't necessarily have to make that move tonight. It would just have to be done in time prior to tomorrow's game.
And the reason Ortiz signed here was to work with Leo Mazzoni. Had some success down in Atlanta. Cut fastball outside corner. That did 93 miles per hour. So trying to make the changes just to try to pitch better.
Breaking ball saws him off. And Ortiz will flip it to first. So Russ comes on as a 3-up, 3-down inning. Heading to the ninth. Boston leads it 9-1. Well, it's a 9-1 game with the Red Sox in front. And the Orioles come up in the ninth. Down by 8. Oriole fans in attendance. Alex Cora comes off the bench. He takes over for Mike Lowell at third base. Lowell had a good game tonight.
Yeah, kind of a venture for Mike Lowell. Yeah, Alex Cora, he's played everywhere. Shortstop when Gonzalez gets a night off. Played shortstop last night in Kansas City. If you ever think baseball is a tough game as Corey Patterson settles in, how about taking a 92-mile-per-hour fastball off your helmet and then making a great play and hanging in there? That ball smoked to right.
Patterson deep to right field. Back on it is Kapler, and it's gone. Julio Magnon making the grab in the bullpen. So Corey Patterson hits it out. His 11th home run on the year, and it's 9-2.
Yeah, career high 24 with the Cubs a couple of years ago. We talked to he had right over the 380 sign at the gate to the bullpen. So early base hit off the glove of Kevin Youkilis. And there it is, home run number 11. 42nd RBI. Looked like a changeup, and this is how strong Corey Patterson is. He just goes out and belts it into the bullpen. There you are. Julio down in the schoolyard.
Kevin Millar gets in the one but pulls it foul. Look out down on Yawkey Way. Now the Crow will tell you that Corey probably has the best raw power on this team. Amazing bat speed.
Now the intriguing thing though is that if he tries to hit home runs, then he starts chasing, which is how really that spiral downward started in the National League. He would start chasing balls over his head and trying to be real aggressive. This year, a little different hitter, much more disciplined. Bunting his way on. Occasional home run power. More of a slash hitter, but certainly can drive the ball.
Slice foul. Kapler over. We'll run out of room. It's in the crowd.
Yeah, the one time Kevin Millar was unable to get a base hit tonight, it was back the first time up. Runners at first and third, and David Wells got him to hit the ground ball for a double play. Other than that, single to right, double left center.
Strike recalled on the curveball, one away. Nissan player of the game, easy choice tonight, David Wells, who pitched 7 strong innings for the Bo Sox.
Yeah, 228 wins now. There you are, 98 pitches, the longest he's pitched. First time he's won this year, came in only the 5th start because of all kinds of knee complication early on, the operation from last year or over the course of the winter, and then the line drive off his knee in May from Travis Lee of the Tampa Devil Rays.
Markakis to deep right field. Kapler back, runs it down. 2 out. Let's get a look at our Chevy play of the game, and Mike Lowell, who was beamed on the head, a fastball, made a fine play defensively.
Yeah, Markakis just screamed one into right field. This is a little looper. Watch this play. I mean, right thighs right over that wall. It is padded, but it's got to hurt a little bit. Great focus. Well, there is your TreviFirst.com play of the game. It was a very good one.
Brian O'Nora, the third base umpire, doing a good job there to get over and make sure that that ball stayed in the glove, and it did. There's Brian. Well, the Orioles down to their final out. He's had a 2-hit night. His 32nd multi-hit game on the year.
Well, I saw that. We were playing the Yankees the first year Frank Robinson was in the old stadium. They used to have that real low wall in right field. And Tresh hit a 2-run lead, hit a ball, looked like it was going to be a 3-run home run. Frank Robinson went back, fell into the stands. Hank Soar called the Tresh out, and Ralph Houck went nuts.
Roberts singles to keep it going, his 3rd hit of the night.
Of course, by the time it's a little bit different, the third base umpire on the ball to low, but Hank Soar, the first base umpire, he ran all the way out, and Frank was lying in the seats and came up with the ball, and of course he could have dropped it, done all kinds of stuff. And the major, Ralph Halka, of course, a major, he went kicking dirt. Game was over. Nice way to win one.
Melvin Mora hitless on the night. Melvin and Tatis, the only starters in this game not to have a hit. Tatis did walk once before Jake Gibbons pinch hit for him. Kyle Snyder trying to end it here with the Orioles down 9-2. Line right to the shortstop Gonzalez, and the ball game ends. Red Sox get the opener of this 3-game weekend series, and they snap their 5-game losing streak, their longest losing streak since May of 2004. Well, once again, our final score, the Red Sox win it 9-2. We'll be back with more from Fenway Park. Right now, let's go back to Comcast Sportsnet. Our studios, a preview of Sports Night presented by PricewaterhouseCoopers, Sage Steel, and Michael Jenkins.